This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, what up? Happy Wednesday. The Jason Walker Show, hanging out inside the man cave. Got a big one for you coming up today. We are talking with Sam Herder from Hero Sports FCS, the guru, senior writer, going to break down Cats-Griz and the playoff situation. Also going to check in with, let's see what's going on here. Alex Eschelman, Cats-Griz game coming up Saturday. State championships coming up Friday and Saturday as well. You can watch the show on Facebook and Twitter. Go to jasonwalkershow.com. Check out Rumble as well. And many more great places where our show, Spotify, Apple, Google, all the podcast places. It's fun. Our Twitter handle at jwalkersports. Our email, jason at jasonwalkershow.com. Who wins this week? Cats-Griz. Who should be the celebrity guest picker, and who wins the state championship games? You can weigh in on all of those at jwalkersports on Twitter. Opening segment, we call it the Walk Up. It is brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes. They are the premier log home company in the industry. 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. 15 different floor plans. You can go in with your own. They'll work with you and your budget. And they are awesome. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. So we mentioned big game coming up Friday night. Capital Bozeman. We had Capital coach Kyle Mihelish on the show yesterday. We'll talk to Levi Wesche of Bozeman tomorrow. Tickets are on sale. $7 for adults, $6 for students. And Capital's 11-0, Bozeman's 9-2. They've won 20 in a row combined, those two teams. Bozeman lost its first 2 to Capital and Sentinel and has won 9 consecutive. Capital hasn't lost this year. Bruins going to the big game for the 16th time. 11-4 in previous state championships. Saw a great, where was it? I think it was my good buddy Tom Stuber had it. And this is a really cool stat or fact. Every head football coach at Capital has won a state AA football title. Goes all the way back to when Capital started. Dennison, Tuss, Chauncey, Sampson, and Murphy. Pat Murphy, the latest. Head coach Kyle Mihelish, who's won it as an assistant, has not yet won as a head coach. So that is on the line. Bruins haven't been back to the championship since 2011. Won the title, beating West that year. Bozeman went in 2019, Levi Wesche's first championship. Bozeman's also won titles in 2010, 14, and 15. I think it was that 2010 one was over Helena High. Bozeman blew out Butte 49-28 back in 2019. Hawks 6-4 all time in state championship games. Capital and Bozeman. I mean, unbelievable. Defenses, so good. Offenses, very good as well. And it's pretty cool. It's going to be a great game. Here's an interesting note. I saw this on 406mtsports.com. Check this out. So, Capital looking to go win the football title on the heels of winning boys basketball with Guy Almquist last spring. Capital beat Bozeman in March to win the title in basketball. And if they beat the Hawks on Friday, Capital would be the first team to win the AA championships in the same calendar year in basketball and football since Bozeman did it in 2019. I think that 2019 championship for Bozeman in basketball, was that the last second shot? I think it was. And then they beat Butte in the fall. So good stuff there. Good stuff. And it's going to be a great game. And, of course, you've got the other games as well on Saturday. And this brings up the point, should Cats-Griz and the state championship games be on the same weekend, especially the Saturday games? And Class A, B, and 6 and 8 man. You have Billings Central traveling to Lewistown in Class A. Class B, you've got Big Fork hosting Loyola, or rather Florence, Carlton hosting Loyola. Loyola upset Big Fork. In 8-man, Belt is at St. Ignatius, and in 6-man, Broadview Lavina travels to Big Sandy. I like this weekend. I mean, it's state championship weekend, including the Cats-Griz. I mean, it's for the state title, right? And I like them in the smaller towns. Now, for years, I've always thought, hey, it'd be cool if, like this year, Bozeman's hosting Cats-Griz, so let's get the state championship games all played in Missoula, for instance, at Washington Grizzly. Like, you could have 2 championships Friday, 3 on Saturday. And for a long time, I thought that. Until I went into Dutton last year and got to call the 6-man state championship with Power Dutton Brady and Freud Medicine Lake. But the small towns hosting, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing it firsthand. So I think I'm back on the bandwagon of, well, not even bandwagon, just back on let the teams host it, the schools host it instead of, but it would be really cool. Other states do it where you get the championships, Seattle, all the play in Washington there, state championships. Texas is the same way. Other states are like that. I think Oklahoma, Minnesota, Colorado. I think Colorado does it. They used to not. But anyway. What's your thoughts? You can weigh in at Jay Walker Sports on Twitter or Jason at JasonWalkerShow.com. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check in with Alex Eschelman. She is back. She's busy. She's got a lot going on, and she's going to fill us in and preview College Game Day at Bobcat Stadium Saturday. She's been to them. We'll check in with her coming up next. Jason Walker Show Walk Up is brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, veteran-owned, family-owned, woman-owned, and operated. You've got milled, handcrafted, and timber frame. Those are the 3 divisions of log homes, and all are fantastic. And they've got over 50 years' experience, the finest craftsmen available in the state. You need to just check them out. Go to yourcustomlog.com to check out Montana Custom Log Homes today. Alex Eschelman when we come back here. Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Everyone knows about Dinner's Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinner's Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinner's Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Ah, summer. A time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little, or a lot, your choice. Have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
To the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show on a Wednesday. Sam Herder from Hero Sports FCS will join us in a little bit. Got on this day in history coming up as well, but it is time to check in with our favorite sports reporter in the entire world. Her name is Alex Eschelman, ABC Fox Montana, SWX Montana sports reporter extraordinaire. It's a busy week in the Gallatin Valley. It's a lot of excitement in the Gallatin Valley, and she's here to break it down all of for us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline.
Miss Eschelman, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Looking cozy and warm in your turtleneck today.
Yes, and we're going neutral colors this week, of course. Big week, Cats-Griz, you know it, Jason. So we're going with pink.
Well,
we're going to be wearing pink.
Now, Bobcat fan would say the Grizzlies wear dark pink. So,
really, I haven't heard that one.
Oh yeah.
Gosh darn it. Well, I tried. How are you, Jason? Thank you for having me.
I am wonderful. It's a busy week. We have 5 state championship games. Of course, let's start with Bozeman High. Levi Wesche back in the championship, first time since 2019. The Hawks going for a 4th title in 12 years. At Capitol, this is a rematch of game number 1. I'm not sure if you've talked to Coach Wesche yet this week, but what's the feeling like down there?
I have not spoken to Coach Wesche yet this week. We are planning on it. Right now, the feeling in Bozeman is just so much positive, exciting energy for a number of reasons, right? I mean, obviously, the biggest storyline of the week is ESPN College Game Day is coming to town. First time they're coming to Montana ever. So that is a huge piece of it. However, people are as equally it's just an exciting time. It's another exciting year and an exciting time in the Gallatin Valley, in Bozeman. And when I spoke with Coach Wesche last week, I'll be curious to see how he is this week. But he runs such a well-oiled machine. He's been here before. He's been to the championship before. He knows what every step of the way is like. And very similarly to Coach Vegan, he is calm, cool, and collected. He knows what needs to get done. He's never too high, never too low, and focuses on that and has that one game at a time mentality. It's just another game. So I think the preparation piece he has down to a T, so does Coach Vegan. So, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Wesche says this week prior to them heading over to Helena.
It's going to be a great game.
How about you? What about Helena? What do you think? What's the vibe there?
It's a lot of excitement. I mean, Capitol playing for its first state championship game and first win since 2011. So this is the team. This is the year they were kind of built for. They've got a lot of returnees. They got a lot of talent. And, it was a 7-point game the first time these two teams played. And and it was down there, nicer weather, obviously, back in August. But still going to be a great game. I cannot wait until Friday night. Kickoff at 7 at Vigilante. So Alex Eschelman joining us. Oh, I should put your name up. Jeez. Game day wouldn't mess this up. By the way, do you get to talk to anybody from game day?
Yes, we have a media availability on Friday. I am not sure who we will be talking to. I don't have the details on that yet, but we will be able to speak with people. So nice. I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon, excited.
Of all the people on that set on game day, who do you want to talk to the most?
Gosh, that is a really good question, but Kirk Herbstreit. Yeah. I mean, I think that he is, I think he, I don't want to say he's the captain of the ship because he's not. I would say Reese Davis is the captain of the ship because he's kind of the facilitator and is really good at tossing to, Desmond, David, Kirk, Lee Corso. You know what, though? I might take that back and say I don't know if Lee Corso is coming. I would love to meet that man.
Right.
He's a legend. Yes, he is. And I really respect, and I know this is kind of a controversial topic in terms of his age, but I really respect the crew respecting him and still keeping him a part of the show, and making him a key component like he always has been. So regardless of the fact of whether he's 87 or something, I think he's 87 years old, but yeah, so any of them I would be ecstatic to meet.
Yeah, but Herbie's a little easy on the eyes. I'm just gonna say it.
David Pollock as well. All great looking guys. You can't go wrong. Yeah. And importantly, I mean, they know what they're the best of the best. Yeah. They know what they're talking about. And it's just, it would be so special because like a Scott Van Pelt, or, you know, Hannah Storm, when you're watching these people all the time, you feel like you know them. We've talked about this. So it's nice I'm excited to just actually meet them in person. Also, Pat McAfee. I mean, that guy is awesome. Yeah. So that would be so fun to have a conversation with him. I think everybody would want to have a conversation with him. Just be in his presence.
I think he picked the Griz. I think I saw that on Twitter. I think he's picking the Griz.
Yeah, but you know what I have to say about that? First of all, he didn't out and out pick the Griz.
Okay.
And if he does, great. I mean, I think that's not a bad pick. I think that in this rivalry, anything goes. Anything goes. This is like a playoff game. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, Cats have 50% chance, Griz have 50% chance. You just really never know. So we'll see. And I think that Pat McAfee likes to shake things up. He likes to get everybody a little rattled. And I almost appreciate that he was pro Griz in that little snippet because it gets people amped up. It's all part of the fun of it.
Will he, okay, because it's going to be cold on Saturday morning. Is he going to be sleeveless?
Oh, no. Okay. I think maybe a portion. Okay. Maybe a part. He jumps in the snow. I could see him, just like unzipping the jacket, going full, just jumping right into the snow and embracing it. But no, it's going to be too cold. No way.
Any idea on celebrity guest picker?
I think that there are a handful of good picks. I mean, there are so many. When people were talking about it, between Flint Rasmussen, Brent Musburger, I mean, Jan Stenerud, Dennis Erickson. There are so many guys you could think. I mean, even current players, which they probably won't be there, but like Alex Singleton, Troy Anderson. I'm trying to think of some more. Bob Green, I loved that take. I mean, I think that there are a lot of good ones. What do you think?
I think a lot of them are good as long as they need to stay away from Yellowstone characters. Although Casey Dutton, the guy Lucas Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton, apparently just moved to western Montana. Him and his family, but they should stay away from the Yellowstone, and they should definitely not do John Mayer.
Oh yeah, I don't think they will. I really don't believe that. I think that they will stick with people who have something to do with Montana State in particular, but even more so, I think that they will decide. I have full faith in that. I will say though, I know that everybody's against it. I don't think it's the worst thing, and maybe because I'm not born and raised in Montana, but I don't think it would be a terrible thing to incorporate some of the Yellowstone characters or a John Mayer. I mean, these people are still a part of it, whether, you know, people like it or not, and they do bring excitement and popularity to the place. So
well, John Mayer's just boring. His music's boring.
Okay, Jason, this might be our last show that we ever do. I strongly disagree. John Mayer's amazing.
Hey, I know he did a lot of stuff with the flood relief this summer. Great community guy. I would do, okay, if they got Lloyd, Forey J. Smith, who plays Lloyd on Yellowstone.
That would be a great pick.
Because he is from Helena.
Yes.
So
yes, I agree. So I don't know. Maybe not a guest picker, but I do think that would be so fun to incorporate those people somehow, some way.
I think they're going to do some Yellowstone theme send to break or bring it back from break somehow. I know that.
Which is great. I mean, again, all part of the fun of it.
Yes.
And whether people like it or not, that has been a component as to why Bozeman specifically has blown up.
Yes.
That has played a part.
Yes.
So for good and for bad reasons, you know.
Yes.
So
yes,
I think it would be fun.
All right, let's talk about the game. Alex Eschelman, the Eschel Special, ABC Fox Montana, SWX Montana sports reporter. Will you be there at 5 a.m, or when do you plan on going? Okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll be there. We are doing live coverage. The buses come in today. We're going to be doing live coverage of that. We're going to be doing live coverage of the media day tomorrow. We are going full gung-ho, all in. We will be up for our own morning show before they do their show because we're not allowed to be going live at the same time.
Right.
So we're working around their show. But, we're going all in. And I feel okay. I feel like at this point, I know how to dress. I know the components to the cold. And no matter what, even if you ask Bill Lamberty, I'm always cold. Okay. It's a thing. I'm always cold. I'm just gonna have to live with it. So, yes. But I'm excited. I'm excited for it to be cold and for all the elements to be there, because not to bring the show Yellowstone back up, but you've never seen an episode where they actually are in the snow in a wintry setting. It's always like the perfect summer day.
Right.
So it's true.
Yeah,
so I'm
you're
excited for ESPN College Game Day to showcase what true Montana weather is.
Tommy Millott looking good, looking healthy. Sean Chambers back this week. He was back last week. They didn't need to play him, putting up 72 points like they did. But Marquis Johnson
got a second in there.
Yeah.
It was great.
Marquis Johnson, National Player of the Week, breakout performance. Long touchdown runs, but 270 plus yards. Big Sky record in rushing for the Cats. They looked really, really solid after struggling at NAU the week before.
You know those moments, Jason, in a football game or really in any game where your mouth just kind of drops? You're looking around, everyone's like,
right? Is
this guy really doing this? That's how it was when Marquis Johnson scored his 4th rushing touchdown. I mean, people were like, this man is, I don't know what he put in his cereal this morning, but he was on fire. And it was awesome right after the game, because obviously I'm filming the highlight. He runs around onto the sideline. All of his guys are hyping him up. And Jeff Manning comes over to my camera and he's like, listen, Big Sky Player of the Week right here. You heard it here first. And was just looked straight into the camera. It was awesome. And I think that just goes to show, no, this team looks, I have full, confidence in this team this year, even more so than I did last year. And I think it's because of all of the trials and tribulations that this team has had. They don't have the Troy Anderson, they don't have the Daniel Hardy, Lance McCutcheon, Lewis Kidd, all those things, but that very much does not matter to this group. I mean, of course, those guys set the tone for them last year. And Coach Vegan said it best, the leaders on this team, it's going to be senior night on Saturday. He said these seniors have just followed right through with what the guys last year did, and then have added on then some,
Mm-hmm.
So I think, they're looking really good. And I think even more so, what was comforting, we went into press conferences on Monday and it felt like just another week. So I think that is the culture of a Coach Vegan team. It's one game at a time. It does not matter who the opponent is. We're going to prepare the same way. And that's trickled down into all the players as well.
72 points last week. The Grizz put up 63. I don't think we're going to see a basketball score on Saturday. I think their defenses are going to hold it down a little bit.
No. And again, back to Coach Vegan, he said this defense that we're going to go up against this Saturday is unlike anything we've seen in our conference. It's that good. So it will be interesting to see how their defense goes up against our offense with Tommy Millott This time last year, we had Matt McKay under center there. So I think it will be interesting to see how Tommy steps up in this game. I think it will be interesting to see how our O-line goes up against their D-line. See who can kind of win that battle there. Thankfully, Montana State is fairly healthy. I think same with the Griz, despite the unknown certainty of whether Lucas Johnson will be back or not. So it'll be an interesting one. I really think when it comes to this type of game, it is anybody's game. I don't care if the Bobcats have home field advantage. I truly believe it's anyone's game.
Well, it's crazy.
You've seen more than I have. So what do you think?
No, I agree. And I mean, both teams are so good. It's interesting to me to think Chris Brown, Chris Brown could start at quarterback for the Griz if Lucas Johnson's a no-go. He's a Bozeman guy. As much fanfare as we've had over the last year about Tommy Mellott, this is his first Cat-Griz game as the starter, as the full-time guy. So there's some emotions, I think, there that aren't even being looked at potentially.
Yeah, but I will say this, Jason. Tommy Mellott, playoff Tommy Mellott last year is almost night and day different from Tommy Mellott right now. And I think the level of confidence that he has in the position, when he first was handed the starting role in playoffs, and even at the beginning of this year, the storyline was, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful, blah, 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 blah. Now as the season's gone on, he owns it. I mean, of course he's always grateful, but you can tell his level of confidence. He knows he deserves that starting role. And I think that he holds that level of confidence. You can just tell. It's just, he has this level of he's seems more sure of himself. He seems more confident in his ability to obviously run the ball, but also be able to complete the pass as well. So I think, and also seeing what he was able to do in the playoffs last year as a freshman. So I don't think that these nerves will rattle him that much.
No, I agree. It's just I was just thinking of it like, he's starting in Cat-Griz for the first time.
I know.
It is nuts. There's a couple of question marks with the Cats. They've been gashed for big plays, especially run plays right up the middle this year. And the Griz are very good on kick returns and punt returns. The Cats have given up some big plays on special teams. That could be a couple of factors to look at too.
Definitely a couple of factors. Coach Vegan did say, however, a few weeks ago when they did give up those two big kickoff returns one of them was kickoff return for touchdown, the other was a punt. But Coach Vegan said from that point on in that Weber State game, they've made significant improvement. That was one of their focuses, and he feels better about their special teams situation there. So again, we'll see. You bring up all these great points, but you just never know.
No, you have to play the game. But that's what we do. That's why we break it down.
I know. That is true. I know. That is true. So, yes, I think that I don't think it will definitely not be a close game. I don't think so. I do not think it will be, I'm sorry, switch that around. I definitely think it will be a close game.
Yes.
Possible overtime situation I could see.
Wow. That's scary. But you got Blake Glesner. He's a pretty good kicker, so.
He is, and he comes from maybe one of the nicest families I've ever met. They are so nice. They come to every game. All of these parents do. You see the Malotts, you see the Fitzgeralds, the Okadas, O'Reillys, all of these players. That family, the Glesners, are very, very good people. So, Yeah, and Blake is a force to be reckoned with. He gets the job done every single time.
Yep, he reminds me a lot of the Griz kicker, and I can't remember his name, from last year, who was money. I mean, you put him out there, he was money.
Yes. Oh, geez.
I can't even. Yeah. Before I let you go. Yeah, before I let you go, I got to ask basketball. Cats and Bobcat women drubbed on the road at Pac-12 opponents last night. Not surprising. It's early season, but your sense through the first few games for the men and women?
Well, before Montana State women's basketball's game last night against ASU, they did beat BYU.
They did.
And BYU is good in all caps.
Yes.
So I think that all of these games right now, it's kind of hard to tell, but I do think all these games right now, I think it's good that they're playing these top opponents. I mean, that's the standard that they want to be at. That's the standard that they are able to be at. We saw that last year. So I think it's good that they are challenging themselves in the fullest degree. And, okay. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, could you hear my phone ringing?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're okay.
So early in the season, but I think that I think everybody's looking good so far. I think women's wise, Cola Bad Bear fan favorite. Everybody's just looking good. So, and then you've got. Why am I blanking out on people's names today? It's been a long week. It has been a long
It's
week.
only Wednesday.
And then you've got Jabril Bello, you got Raekwon Battle. Everyone's looking good. I think with the guys, and Coach Sprinkle said this in their game against MSUB, the leaders that they had last year were so prominent. Xavier Bishop, all those guys, they were vocal leaders. And he said, we need people to step up. We need people to become more vocal leaders. We need Gray to step up. We need Jabril to step up, all of these guys. So early on, but I think they're so far so good. I think that they're challenging themselves and trying to put themselves in the best position for when we do get to conference play.
And you could have special guests on the bench Friday night. Coach Sprinkle reaching out to our buddy Troy Strong, hashtag Troy Strong, Troy Ross, his sister Kennedy, both could be sitting on the bench on Friday, which would be awesome. Troy, how about him for a guest picker?
I definitely would. I would love, I've seen that on Twitter, and another fan. The beautiful thing about the Ross family is that both sides rally around them and rally around what they are trying to impact, the movement that they are, that they put out there to, go give blood. You never know who you are going to help. Yep. So I think that I would love to see them incorporated into the show as well. I mean, the more the merrier. These are all the things that kind of Montana is about, and they are definitely a prime example of people, of how nice people are here and how willing people are to help each other and be there for each other. So yeah, I think that would be fun. I think it's also amazing that Danny Sprinkle reached out to them via Twitter. No surprise. No. That's why Coach Sprinkle, it will be, hopefully he's the Arizona men's basketball coach at one point. That's what I would like to think. One way, when he's done with, he will never be done with Montana State because this is his home. But if he does ever decide to move on, but he's that successful and he's a leader, and you can see that.
It is National Fast Food Day today. Go to in Bozeman for you.
Best Burger.
Okay.
And that's in Four Corners, but Best Burger, hands down, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yes, I love Best Burger. How about you?
In Bozeman, Columbo's Pizza.
Columbo's, very yummy.
Yes.
That Italian place is good. Is that fast food though?
No, but it's pizza's always fast food, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
It's just Columbo's.
I would say Tarantino's pizza is fast food.
That would be fast food, especially at 2 a.m.
And that is maybe my favorite.
Burger Bob's.
I think Tarantino's pizza is the best pizza in town.
Oh, Columbo's is the best. Hands
I would
down.
put Tarantino's up against that.
Oh, no, I'll take Columbo's. But I'm surprised you didn't mention the Cannery and Burger Bob. I mean, Dane Fletcher.
But that's not fast food to me. That's sit down.
Okay. You're
fast
right.
food is
You're
in
right.
and out. You're in the drive-through, you're in the line, and you get it right then and there. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I do have bummer news. Because of College Game Day, I did not get a sideline pass for this game. So I will not be coming. Yep. ESPN.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I think that, there are a number of people that I know that have not been able. It's really tough.
So I'm bummed because
the good thing is there's going to be another Cats-Griz next year and next year and next year.
That is true.
So
yeah, next year I'd have to go to Missoula though. I don't want to do that.
Well, maybe ESPN College Game Day gets to Missoula next year.
Ooh, well, maybe they'll see the environment this year. There's no question about that. Hey, I know you're a busy girl. I know you got a lot on your plate this week, but have fun with it all. Enjoy it. Say hi to Herbie. And who's the girl they have? What's her name? Something Sim? Jenna Sim?
So they have Jen Lotta. Who actually, yes, I completely, since she's not at the desk, I spaced, but that is one person I would love to meet too. And then Jess Sims. Yes, she's kind of like the fun host, getting everybody hyped up. So I think those have been, it's interesting because my upbringing, when I always think of the classic College Game Day, I think of Sam Ponder and Maria Taylor and even Erin Andrews before both of them. But I like how College Game Day is evolving and switching things up and adding a host effect. I think that both of those women add. Jen Lott is an amazing journalist, first of all, but Jess Sims adds a fun twist to it. So yeah, it'd be fun to meet them as well.
I would have preferred Chris Fowler. I want Chris Fowler's job. That's like the dream job for me. Two of them, Dan Patrick, show like his, or to be Chris Fowler. Because you get to call like college football and basketball, and then you're in Australia for the U.S. or for the Australian Open, and then the U.S. Open, and then, I want Chris Fowler's job.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, it would be, it really is ESPN College Game Day. That is my dream gig. So we're going to put it out in the universe.
Okay. I wanted to show the video. I couldn't, but I think it was your Instagram. Your U of A cheer days at Game Day. That was awesome.
No, I will post that. Actually, I had some coworkers that said, we need to get that on TV this week. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Yes. So 2015 College Game Day came to Arizona for the Arizona UCLA game. We got pummeled, but it doesn't matter because we beat them this year. Ha. And that may or may not have helped Montana State's case. So bear down.
Yes.
But, so yeah, sorry,
You're
not
okay.
for me.
It's good.
But yeah, so that was when Rich Rod was the coach, and Raquel, his daughter, is one of my closest friends from college. And they were up on stage talking with Sam Ponder, and I'm in the background, and I'm sitting on my teammate / friend Dan Recker's shoulders. We're all in shoulder sits, and he, for some reason, just didn't want to stand still and was spinning me around and weighing side to side, and I was helpless. I was just sitting up there, just smiling and pretending like nothing's happening. Oh my gosh!
Hold on, let me go back. There it is. There's Alex Eschelman right there.
There it is.
That is fantastic. God. Yeah,
it was.
He looks like he's just swaying along with the music.
Yep, and there we go, up and down. Yeah, so it was. I know it firsthand of getting up early. I mean, a little different situation, considering it was probably like 75 degrees at 4 a.m. when we got there versus
not
3 below, 10 below. So that'll be interesting. I won't be in a tank top and skirt this time around, but
you should break it out though for the good old days.
Maybe I will if Pat McAfee does it. If we get him in a cheer uniform, shorts and t-shirt, I will put on my tank top and U of A uniform skirt.
Well, I think you could probably get a Bobcat cheerleading outfit.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Hey, Bobcat top and then a Griz skirt. How about that? Just stay neutral.
No, you can't. No, Alex, you can't be. You haven't been neutral all year.
I did judge Griz. I love the Griz cheer team.
Yes, you
love the Griz cheer team. So, I mean, Tommy Malotte's girlfriend is on the Griz cheer team, who is so sweet, and she's amazing. We've got, Tessa Nato, who I used to work with here at ABC Fox, is now the coach with her husband. So I love them. I love the Bobcats too.
Okay.
No bias here with the cheer teams.
Okay. Yeah. Cheer team. Okay. Hey, have a great week. I know you're busy, like I said. Say hi to Coach Weshy. He's actually going to be on the show Thursday again. And
he loves the show.
I know. We brought that up. I brought that up with him last week. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. Anyway, have a great week. Say hi to Herbie and the girls, and we'll talk to you next week before the playoffs start.
Let's do it, Jason. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, and have a great time this week.
That is Alex Eschelman joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. It's your home, it's your auto, it's your life, and Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller State Farm in Helena today. Went sledding with him, his wife and his two little girls Sunday with my little one. That was fun. You see, you become family with family. Does that make sense? Anyway, thanks to Alex. Always a pleasure chatting with her. And it's going to be a fun one down there on Saturday. Bobcats and Grizzlies. All right, quick break. We'll come back. What's the playoff picture look like for the Grizz? Win and they're in. We know that. What if the Grizz were to lose? Would they still make the playoffs? We'll talk to Sam Herder from Hero Sports FCS next on the Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
L&P Grocery offers Boulder a convenient shopping experience, whether you're stopping in for a few things or stocking up for the week ahead. From fresh produce and meat to all the staples you need to feed your family, you'll find it here. L&P Grocery is also proud to have partnerships with local brands and carry products unique to the area. Stop by to exchange propane tanks, pick up fishing tackle, grab your prescription, or get your photo taken at the Pitcher Kiosk. They're delighted to be the one-stop shop for local area Boulder residents who want to support local business. Visit lnpgrocery.com and at 215 North Main Street.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Summer, a time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little or a lot, your choice, have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Final segment on a Wednesday. We'll get you set for tomorrow a little bit later on in the walk-off. Also on this day in history coming up, but it is time to check in with a good friend of the show. He comes on a couple times a year to break down the FCS and much more. His name is Sam Herder, and he joins us. The segment, by the way, brought to you by Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino. Stop in. Hot games, warm staff, cold drinks. So get in. But Sam Herder joins us now on the Jason Walker Show.
All right, it's that time of the year when the guru, senior writer, Hero Sports FCS. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's well. Last time we talked, I think it was in Frisco.
Yeah, I think so.
Say so.
Yep.
It feels like it was 2 years ago.
I know, it does. It really does. It is absolutely bonkers. Of course, we're both in a different place than we were in Frisco at that point. I'd much rather be in Frisco right now. It's probably warmer for one, and the scenery was better.
Yep.
That's all he's going to say. Hey, it is a big weekend this weekend in the FCS. We've got the end of the regular season. Of course, none bigger than Cats-Griz. You got College Game Day coming to town. What was your take on them choosing Bozeman this year over Missoula last year?
Yeah, I think it was just how this last weekend's results probably shook out. I think who was it? I think it was either USC or UCLA. One of them lost, and that bumped them out of the top 10 rankings. And so had they won, probably would have went to Los Angeles. But I just think they really based things off of what happened the last weekend. And I know last year I think it was a huge Big Ten game that they decided to go to. And so I just think if they're considering you and you keep on winning, they're going to probably choose you. I remember one year. They talked about how they were going to go to, I think it was North Dakota State at Youngstown State, but then Youngstown State lost and they decided to go somewhere else. And so I just think it was just circumstantial. If this game was in Missoula this year, they still would have gone. And so I know the argument is, why did they choose Bozeman this year, not Missoula last year? I think it has less to do about the towns and more to do with just about the matchups and, timing and all that stuff.
Have you been to College Game Day when they've been to Fargo?
Yeah, so I've been to game day 3 times total, twice when they went to Fargo, and then 2019 when they went to Brookings for North Dakota State, South Dakota State. I was at that one too.
What's the atmosphere like? I mean, we can see it on TV, but until you experience it in person, give us a feel.
So it's interesting because it's electric. At the start, obviously, they do like a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're live, and they have the camera that goes over top of the crowd and everyone's yelling and, holding up their signs and, they're introducing, we're in Bozeman and rivalry game and all that. And it's the first 2 minutes are electric. But just to warn Montana State fans, they're not talking about this game for 3 hours.
Right.
They're going to talk about it for 20 minutes total. But within 5 minutes of the show starting, they're going to talk about Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson and Michigan. And so I don't want to say it's boring, but it turns into 3 hours of just standing around listening to FBS talk. And then, every 30 minutes they'll come back, and be like, oh, they'll do a feature on the Brawl of the Wild, or they'll talk about this game, or they'll talk about Bozeman, they'll talk about Montana. Then they'll do that for 10 minutes, and then the next 30 minutes is about FBS. And then they'll come back and talk about the game. And so it's not boring, but it is sometimes you find yourself standing around and kind of being like, yes, all right, what are we going to do here now? Are we going to talk about FCS? And that's just not the case. And so just kind of a fair warning that there could be 45 minutes of boredom for the fans where it's just they're not talking about anything they really care about.
We're talking with Sam Herder from Hero Sports, and FCS covers it like nobody else can. It is interesting that they are coming, and is Tom? Which story is Tom Rinaldi going to make people cry at? I mean, that's what game day's about, right? You got to have that sappy story in there.
Yeah, and look, dude, some of these guests know a whole lot about the teams and rosters 2 weeks ago or even last week. Probably not, but these guys are pros. I mean, when you hear them talk, on stage, especially the host Reese Davis, it's going to seem like he's been following these teams all season long. I mean, they get tidbits. They know what to say. They know how to say it. They know how to pronounce teams. They know or names. Just kind of like small details that maybe, casual people, won't know. And so, they do a really good job. They tell the stories. They'll talk about the game. They'll talk about the rivalry and what it means. And, they'll have some really cool stories out there.
This is a big game, and it's eerily similar, almost identical circumstances as to last year's game. Except this year the Griz need to win to get in, I think. The Cats, a win, they secure a share of the conference title in the Big Sky with Sac State. But give me your thoughts on how crazy similar it is to last year's game.
Yeah, it kind of is, because last year if Montana State would have won, they probably would have secured the number 2 seed. But since they lost, they got dropped all the way back to, I believe it was the 8 seed, which actually, kind of helped them because they got a favorable matchup against Sam Houston. But then South Dakota State went on a run, who was unseeded, and that ended up, allowing Montana State to host a semifinal game. And so it's kind of weird how things shake out, with bracketing. But yeah, I think if Montana State wins, they are for sure looking at, in my opinion, the number 3 seed. If Sac State loses, that could jump Montana State to the number 2 seed. But I think if Sac State wins, you're looking at Sac State, South Dakota State as the top 2 seeds. Probably Montana State 3 seed, North Dakota State, Samford 4 and 5 seeds. If Montana wins, I still think Montana State will be a seed, and actually a pretty decent seed. As odd as it is, Montana State could still lose this game and maybe be a top 4 seed, because with a loss, the Bobcats, their overall body of work would still be better than NDSU's. They would have the same number of wins, but they would have more ranked wins. They would have a tougher strength of schedule. And so if Montana State were to lose, I don't think they would drop in the seedings as much as they did last year. And if the Griz win, the Griz might be a seed if they win, but I don't think it's as much of a lock as last year. I know last year the Griz got a seed because of a couple of ranked wins. They don't have any ranked wins yet this year, and so if they beat Montana State, that would be 1 ranked win, 8-3 overall. I don't know if that would be enough to get a seed for Montana if they were to win. And so, there's just a lot on the line. And if Montana loses, they are firmly on the bubble.
Yeah, definitely. And I read your article, herosports.com/FCS football, playoff predictions, and it's broken down so well. You have the Griz, if they lose, would be a 24 and be the last team in, basically. Is that right?
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of results that have to go Montana's way as well. That last spot could be between 7 and 4 Montana versus a 9-2 Fordham team. And the kind of the irony there is both teams would be bragging about their quality losses because Montana lost to, close games, assuming this is a close game. This weekend, they lost to 4 highly ranked teams very close. Fordham will be like, well, we almost beat Holy Cross and we almost beat FBS Ohio. They wouldn't be talking about their wins. They would be talking about, who they lost to and how close those games were. And you might say, well, how is 7 D1 wins better than 9 D1 wins? Well, Fordham's strength of schedule is, I think, in like 60s, 70s. Montana's is going to be in the, I think, later teens, early 20s. And so strength of schedule is a big deal. But there's a lot of different things that can happen. If Mercer beats Sanford this weekend, that can make the SoCon go from 3 teams in to 4 teams in. I'm trying to think what else. In the OVC, they kind of have a weird coin flip thing where if UT Martin wins the coin flip for the auto bid, then SEMO is probably going to get in that large bid because they're going to have 9 Division I wins. But if SEMO gets the coin flip for the auto bid, UT Martin won't be in that large bid because their resume is not as good. And so the OVC could be a 1 bid league, or they could get 2 bids in that. Then that would steal, a bid from the 5th place, Big Sky team, for example. If UC Davis beats Sac State, that is probably going to knock Montana out at 7-4 because at 7 D1 wins for Montana, you probably have to go with 7 D1 wins for Idaho first to get in, assuming Idaho beats Idaho State. And so Idaho would be in before Montana. UC Davis at 7 D1 wins, if they beat Sac State, they're going to be in before Idaho. And so all of a sudden that makes Montana go to having the 6th best argument to get into the playoffs out of the Big Sky at 7-4. And I don't think 6 Big Sky teams get in that scenario. And so 7-4 Montana, like I said, they're going to need some help as well as far as results going their way.
So basically they control their own destiny is what you're saying. Win, you're in.
Yep. Yeah. Win in Montana for sure is in. And what will be interesting is if Montana wins and UC Davis wins, then I think the Big Sky gets 6 teams in because, Sac State is a lock. Obviously, Montana State is a lock. Weber State's, they're going to win this weekend. They're in. And then, Montana's in if they beat Montana State. But if you put Montana in, you have to put UC Davis in. And then if UC Davis beats Sac State, you have to put them in at 7-4, beating Idaho and Sac State. So that's 6 teams. I don't know who you leave out. If you are going to leave one team out, it would probably be Idaho, honestly, just because of how they lost to UC Davis. And I know they beat Montana, but Montana just beat Montana State is 8-3. And so there could be some crazy stuff out of the Big Sky if some quote-unquote upsets happen. I know Montana beating Montana State wouldn't be an upset, but, based off of rankings, if Sac State beats UC, or if UC Davis beats Sac State, Montana beats Montana State, there could be some funky stuff happening.
That's why we love this time of the year, right?
Yeah, it's a blast. It's fun. Yeah.
How shocked or how dead is your brain right now, thinking of all these scenarios in all the different leagues?
Yeah, it can get confusing. Last year at this time, it was pretty straightforward. My final bracketology, I got all 24 teams right, but that's I'm not even bragging about that because it was pretty easy to get all 24 teams in just because the bubble shook out where it's, all these teams that could have hit 71 wins, they all lost. And so they were probably out. But then that allowed a team like Florida A&M to get in at 8 D1 wins. But this year there's going to be, I think there's 35 teams still in the playoff picture as far as them being able to hit 7 D1 wins. And, at 6 D1 wins that you can get in at 61 wins, but it happens rarely. Northern Iowa got in last year at 6-5, but that's because they beat Sac State. 6 D1 wins probably won't cut it this year. And so once you hit that 7 D1 win mark, that at least gets you in the conversation. And there's a lot of teams that are going to have 7 D1 wins unless some upsets happen.
We're talking with Sam Herder here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. He's the Hero Sports FCS senior writer. One thing that stands out, you mentioned it in your article, Lucas Johnson missed a couple of games in those losses for the Griz. But Bobcat fan could argue that, look, Tommy Malott went down for a couple of games and they still won. So how much of a factor would that have if the Griz were to potentially win this game?
Yeah, the committee does talk about injuries. They do talk about how you lost as well. I had the committee chair on, Jeremy Truax, last week, and he talked about, I asked him, when you lose is how you lose and who you lost to. Does that matter? Or is it just, they lost 4 games, they lost 4 games. And he said, no, how you lose matters. There is a difference between going to, and he said this, he referenced the Sac State overtime game. He said there is a difference going to a highly ranked Sac State team and losing a close game in overtime. That's a lot different than, going to South Dakota State and losing by 28 points. Like, those are 2 very different losses. And I know he said, the quality losses, we understand why that's not like a great argument. You should talk about wins before you talk about losses, but at the same time, losses can help you shape how good, this team is. And so, yeah, Montana State lost to Weber State very close. They lost to Sac State very close, but it was on the road. It was without their starting quarterback. And at the end of the day, it was a loss, but it still kind of showed us, okay, we think very highly of Weber State. We think very highly of Sac State. Well, Montana was right there with them. That must mean the Griz are pretty good. And so, those close games do matter. It being without Lucas Johnson does matter. And that can make the difference, at the end.
Well, let me ask you to follow up on that. Is a close loss without your starting quarterback on the road to a ranked team better than a win at the last second over an unranked team at Northern Arizona, for instance?
Yeah. I mean, a win is still going to be valued more. I don't know how much you're going to, quote unquote, penalize that, because you look at, South Dakota State had a really close game at Northern Iowa. I think that was the same week as Montana State having a really close game at Northern Arizona. Heck, NDSU had a very close game at Indiana State, and Indiana State's not very good. And so you can pick at, when it comes to seedings, if one committee member says, well, how good is Montana State? They barely beat Northern Arizona. Someone else could say, well, look at these other results too that are really close. Sometimes you just have those performances on the road where you just, you're just thankful you got out with the win, because everything, maybe not everything, but a lot of things went wrong and you still, got a win. And so, I don't think, that Northern Arizona performance is going to come back to bite them a whole lot, just because there's some other performances like that around the country.
Who wins Saturday? Break it down for me.
Yeah, I didn't do my predictions just yet, but in my bracketology earlier this week, I said I am projecting ahead. And so the fact that I have Montana, in but on the bubble, and I have Montana State as the 3 seed, that was basically saying that I think that I'm leaning the Bobcats to win this one. Home field, I think, is going to be a difference. I'm skeptical if Lucas Johnson is going to play or not, and even if he does, he'll be limited in his mobility. And we saw it 3 years ago with Dalton Sneed. He had an ankle, I think, and he played, but you could tell he couldn't move around. Montana State got after him, and so I think even if Lucas Johnson plays, he might be a bit limited. And I think the return of Chambers as well for Montana State is going to be huge, because I'm a big fan of Tommy Mellott. I like his game. I think he just has that it factor about him, and we saw that late against Northern Arizona, but he can be a bit up and down throwing the ball. I think Chambers is a more polished passer, and I think having that option of, let's say Mellott starts 2 of 7, passing, and the passing game is just not clicking. Well, you have Chambers there who can maybe, do some different things. And so, I just think Montana State is getting healthier in a sense, and Montana is, kind of going the other way a little bit when it comes to injuries. And so I think that'll add up, and Montana State will get a win.
When you look, Sam, at these defenses, the Cats have been gashed big play yards all season long. That Griz secondary and linebacking core is really good, although I don't think neither defense is as good as it was a year ago for both teams. What's your spin?
Yeah, that's definitely the case for Montana State. Individually, they still have a lot of really good players. It's just, it's kind of hard to tell, what's missing there. Especially seems kind of, down the middle of the defenses, especially where it can get gashed. Montana, I think, is kind of hard to gauge Montana. I do think there is an argument that they are better than last year's defense. A lot of the same guys coming back. I think the linebacker core has more depth. I think the cornerbacks especially are really good. I think the defensive line has taken the next step forward. And so I think the Griz probably are better, on on defense, that's kind of a 500-foot view of things, I guess. But I know, Patrick O'Connell, who I think is arguably one of the best linebackers in the FCS. He's been out lately. I would imagine he's going to play just because I think he's a Montana guy, and so and he's a senior, so I'm guessing he'll play. It'll be interesting for sure, especially Montana State's rushing attack versus Montana's rushing defense is going to be. I mean, that's going to be the battle right there.
You put up 72, you put up 63 last week. Well, both of these teams, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. What do you think?
Yeah, probably in the low 20s, like a 24, 21 type of game. There could be some big special teams plays. It seems like both teams have some pretty good returners. Montana State, their coverage teams haven't been too great, at different times. Weber State scored twice. And so, I mean, there's a chance that Montana special teams, with a combination of returners and their kicker could score more points, than their offense, especially if Lucas Johnson is limited. But at the same time, Montana State does allow chunk yardage. And, I talked about just a little bit ago, I really like Montana's defense, but I also really liked Weber State's defense, and Montana State did whatever they wanted against Weber State's defense, and I was watching that game going, holy crap, like this offensive line is just mauling one of the best run defenses in the FCS. And so who knows, it could be a shootout, but, colder weather, relatively speaking, somewhat cold, I guess, depending on where you're from. But, I think that might play a factor, too, of maybe not a whole lot of passing and just, who can establish the run first and keep it going longer.
Hey, before I let you go, I got to ask you this. It is National Fast Food Day. You travel a lot. What's your fast food joint?
I like Chick-fil-A probably is my go-to, but I kind of switch it up. I like Chipotle as well. I really like Dairy Queen too. So I don't know if I have a favorite out of that group, but those are usually my top three.
Okay, that's not bad. And answer me this. Why do North Dakota State quarterbacks, when they get to the pros, really not have a lot of success?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, the injuries don't help. I guess, Trey Lance got hurt. Carson Wentz has been cursed with with injuries as well. So, I don't know. I mean, Easton Stick is not playing a ton, but he's stuck on a roster. And so that's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, from a recruiting perspective for NDSU, do they care how good their quarterbacks are in the NFL as long as they get them there? Right. They could sell their quarterbacks. Hey, we sent Trey Lance and Carson Wentz in the first round. Is that recruit really going to be like, well, they're not really good in the NFL, so I don't want to go there. They're probably more worried about, well, let's just get them there, and then whatever happens from there, happens. But it is kind of interesting that, living in not in North Dakota, but near North Dakota, living in Fargo for a little bit, knowing a lot of North Dakota State fans, it has been interesting that, Carson Wentz was kind of the adopted child, and everyone was bragging about Carson Wentz, but then he's been struggling. And so, not a lot of Bison fans tweet about Carson Wentz anymore, especially with Trey Lance in the league. They were tweeting about Trey Lance a lot, but now he's hurt. And so it is kind of an interesting dynamic, I guess.
I know you're going to Bozeman. I actually, because of game day, that got denied my sideline pass, so I will not be there for the Cat-Griz game. Thanks, ESPN. But enjoy Bozeman. I know you've been there before. Great place to fly into, and we'll talk before the championship. How's that?
All right, that sounds great. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate the time, as always.
Sam Herder joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Kickoff high noon in Bozeman, Saturday. Cats-Griz. If you missed anything with Alex Eschelman or Sam Herder, go to jasonwalkershow.com. It is November the 16th. It is National Fast Food Day, National Button Day, and also Check Your Wipers Day, 1924. And we're supposed to get some snow. Just looking at the radar between here and Great Falls, the next few hours, going to be some snow. 1924 on this date, Cleveland Bulldogs would lose 12-7 to the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. Ends a 31-game undefeated streak, an NFL and Major League Football record. 1926, New York Rangers Ice Hockey Club plays first game, beating the Montreal Maroons. 1957, Bill Russell sets the NBA record of 49 rebounds. 1957, Oklahoma football saw its NCAA win streak end at 47, losing to Notre Dame. And on this date, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain of the San Francisco Warriors put up 73 points.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off is brought to you by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. Stop in for the best Cajun this side of New Orleans. Who you betting on? Cats-Griz? You can check or let us know at Walker Sports on the Twitter. Who's going to win? Who's going to win the state championship games this week? You can go to at Walker Sports there and vote as well. So, hope you had a good one. Thanks to Alex Eschelman for joining us. Always a pleasure chatting with her. Sam Herder, appreciate that. Thanks to all of our tweets, emails, and all around great support, including from our fantastic sponsors. Check out our sponsors, including Cafe Zydeco. Levi Wesche will join the show tomorrow. Bozeman Hawk football coach looking for his second state title. Going up against the Capital Bruins in Helena on Friday night. We'll talk to Coach Wesche tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Be smart. Be safe. We'll see you back here. Right here tomorrow. Jason Walker Show.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.